Support for NPR and the following message come from Vimeo Create. You don't have to be an expert to create high-quality videos for your business. Add clips, pick a template, and let the smart tools of Vimeo Create handle the rest. More at vimeo.com/create.
Tappert Brothers, we're broadcasting this week from the Pain Clinic here at Car Talk Plaza. Well, is this some kind of scientific study?
No. This is a very interesting story. You're going to love this. Tired of constantly being broke and stuck in an unhappy marriage, a young husband decides to solve both problems by taking out a large insurance policy on his wife with himself as the beneficiary. This is like in the inky shadows.
Right out of Columbo.
And arranged to have her killed. A friend of a friend puts him in touch with a nefarious underworld figure who went by the name of Artie only. No, just Artie.
Yeah, that's good.
Artie explained to the husband that his going price for snuffing out a spouse was $5,000. The husband said he was willing to pay that amount, but he wouldn't have any cash on hand until he could collect his wife's insurance money. Artie insisted on being paid something up front. The man opened up his wallet, displaying the single-dollar bill that rested inside. Artie sighed, rolled his eyes, and reluctantly agreed to accept the dollar as down payment for the dirty deed. A few days later, Artie followed the man's wife to the local Safeway grocery store. There, he surprised her in the produce department and proceeded to strangle her with his gloved hands. Isn't this good?
Well, go ahead.
Wait a minute. As the poor suspecting woman drew her last breath and slumped to the floor, the manager of the produce department stumbled unexpectedly onto the scene. Unwilling to leave any witnesses behind, Artie had no choice but to strangle the produce manager as well.
I see it now.
Unknown to Artie.
I see it
now. Shut up.
2 chokes for the price.
No. Okay. Unknown to Artie.
2 Artie
The
chokes.
entire proceedings were captured by hidden camera and observed by the store's security guard, who immediately called the police. Artie was caught and arrested before he could leave the store. Under intense questioning at the police station, Artie revealed a sordid plan, including his financial arrangements with the hapless husband. And that is why the next day in the newspaper, the headline declared.
I know the headline.
Yeah.
Artichokes 2 for $1.
At Safeway. You got it, man.
Oh, man. That's why it was the pain clinic? That was painful, man.
Artichokes 2 for $1.
I give up.
Well, someone had to go to the great pains.
And you have the audacity when I use a lousy puzzler to say, bogus. Oh, come on. Well, look, if you think that was bad, wait till you hear our car advice. Anyway, if you have a question about your car or anything else, the number to call is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888 Artichokes 2 for $1. 888-227-825. I missed the at Safeway part. 8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, guys. This is Patrice calling from Miami.
Hi, Patrice.
Patrice, what's up?
How'd you like Tommy's little intro? Artichokes. Never mind.
Pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Good, huh?
I thought it was pretty darn good. Someone had to sit down and type an entire page to come up with that punchline.
I guess so.
And the thought that went into it.
What's going on, Patrice?
I have a 1975 Volkswagen bus, and it will not start. And when I turn the key, all I hear is tick, 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 tick,
Tick, tick, tick, huh?
Yes.
What have you done to correct this?
Well, we tried to jump it.
You did?
Yeah, and that didn't start it.
That's too bad.
Poured a can of Coke on the battery.
A can of Coke.
That didn't start it.
We don't recommend Coke anymore. Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Okay.
Does anything else work? Do the headlights work?
Headlights work.
Uh-huh.
Well,
How long did you try jumping? Did you just hook up jumper cables and say turn the key and nothing happened and you said, oh, darn it?
No, there one of the jumper guys came, and he worked about 20 minutes, I would say, on the car.
He did?
Yeah.
What were you wearing?
Just exercise clothes.
There you go.
You can't trust those guys.
You can't trust 20 minutes.
Well, it sounds like a classic dead battery.
It does.
Well,
but it could be other things.
To me, it sounds like a dead starter motor.
It's either the battery or the starter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's easy to test. You got to just bring it someplace that has a load tester and they'll tell you in 2 seconds.
I mean, you're obviously not really dedicated. You're looking for a pour a Coke on the battery kind of fix here, I can tell, because you're not into spending any money on this thing.
You got it.
The idea of taking it someplace is out of the question. If we can't fix it, it's going to the junkyard or going to sit in your driveway.
Are you kidding? I almost bought a 75 VW bus only recently.
You want to buy this one?
No.
Okay.
For the same reason I didn't want to buy the other one.
Okay.
What was that reason?
It was a piece of junk.
Oh,
But one day I just woke up and I had the hots for a VW bus. I don't know what came over me.
you must have looked at yourself in the mirror.
But I realized what I really wanted was a 60s VW bus.
Exactly. Yeah, the ones that were less safe.
Oh, man, but gorgeous.
Yeah, less power.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. Well, look at Patrice.
Yes.
I think you have either a bad starter motor,
Okay.
which is going to require that you change it or somebody change it, or you have a seized engine.
Ah, that sounds expensive.
Yeah, I mean, if the fact, this guy who came to try to jump it, if he had a real jumper pack or a real battery and he couldn't get the thing to crank over, then it means that the starter is probably bad. And starters can go without warning. After all, it's been in there for like 100 years.
Right.
So that would be my first guess that it's the starter motor.
Okay.
But I can tell it's going to sit there. Call us when you get sick of looking at it. My brother will give you $50.
We'll do that.
Good luck, Patrice.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What?
75
This is never going to run again.
75 VW bus.
One
We
eight-
didn't even ask her, why does she have a VW bus of that vintage? Is she a hippie? Does she wish she were a hippie?
hippie wannabe.
Had she been a hippie?
No, I think 75 is too new a bus to be
To have been a hippie.
to have been a hippie bus.
Yeah. 60s buses were for hippies. Who were 75 buses for?
Soccer moms. I don't know.
No.
Well, don't forget the bus. The early bus was the precursor of the minivan.
Of course.
In 1975, there was no minivan except for the bus.
And you think some mothers were buying, maybe hippies that got married or
Exactly.
didn't get married but had kids?
You got it. 1-888 Car Talk. That's 888.
Just trying to understand the world,
27825. That's what gets us in trouble. 8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is John Mark in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hi, John.
St. Paul.
What's shaking?
I've got a 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it got the strangest thing. I'm not driving it much this time, or using the air conditioning much this time of year, but over the summer when I noticed that when I would take a hard right turn, I heard a loud flowing noise, like liquid flowing.
Ah,
And then the second right turn I took, I would get this flood of water, kind of a biblical proportions, in the back seat. And it would come out of one ventilation duct under the passenger seat.
yeah.
Oh,
Isn't this sweet? So you can actually hear the sloshing around.
Well, it's kind
Like
of
waves.
It's given me warning when I take that first right turn.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I know I'm going to get a deluge.
and it's coming from the air conditioner.
Right. I just don't know why. I mean, it prior to this summer, it didn't do it.
Well, as you know, that when you run the air conditioner, one of the things it does besides cooling the air
It's dehumidified.
is dehumidifies.
Right.
And so there's a whole bunch of water that's coming out of the passenger compartment, and it's got to go somewhere.
Right.
And where it's going is the back seat.
Now, if you looked at
You're storing it up and then pouring it into the back seat.
right, you're not doing it one drop at a time. You're doing it
One flood
big
at a
chunk
time.
at a time. If you were to look at another Grand Cherokee whose air conditioner was on, and stopped at a light, for example, you would notice, and yours used to do this too, that there's water dripping from underneath it.
Sure.
Yours doesn't do that anymore.
It hasn't done it probably for a mighty long time.
And the reason it hasn't done it is that little drain is plugged up.
Okay.
And when that drain pipe gets plugged up, the water that gets removed from the moist air in your cabin can't escape the vehicle.
Got it.
And when you make a turn, bingo.
Yeah.
Now, you're lucky because in the old days, before cars had rear seat air conditioning,
Yeah.
the water used to pour out in your shoes.
Right. So you're fortunate in having a modern car. Otherwise, you'd have wet feet.
I just feel bad for the guy in the back seat.
Yeah, well, that's tough.
Yeah, well, tell them to put their feet up. Give them a milk box. But you need to go to the gas station next time you get your oil change.
Yeah.
Ask them to blow out the evaporator drain.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Now, I changed my own oil in this car, so can I do that?
Ask yourself. You'll need compressed air.
Okay.
You have that?
I can get it.
John, this is a perfect opportunity to
buy a
yourself
compressor.
a compressor.
I've been looking for an excuse.
Haven't you always wanted one?
and my wife doesn't know it, but she's wanted one too.
Well, then this is what you do then. Buy it for her for Christmas. Kill two birds with
Hon,
one
look,
stone.
I got you a compressor.
Well, she's gonna ask me though. You got me a compressor, a 3/8" drill bit, a power saw.
Well, you know, the compressor has all kinds of good uses.
Okay.
You can use it to blow out all kinds of things around the house, but you can also use it to operate a spray gun. You can spray paint that picket fence you've been dreading painting all these years.
Yeah. Can you vacuum the kitchen?
You
the
got to
living
build
room
that
with
fence before I can
Build
spray
the
paint,
fence, and then you'll be able to spray paint.
Well,
it.
you can get an an air compressor nailer.
Okay.
So
right, you can get a pneumatic nailer.
So when you're
So you can put that shed dormer on your house.
you can do all kinds of stuff.
Well, I will surprise my wife.
Yeah, and don't cheap out. Go for 200 psi.
Get an 8 horsepower. See you, John.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
You'll have to build an addition to the house with a compressor. And they're loud, too. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name's Richard from Malden.
Malden, Mass?
That's correct.
There is
Richard.
only one Malden in the entire United States. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's in Massachusetts. There
Oh,
are no
he lies.
Maldens.
And it's named after Malden, England.
No, Carl Malden.
Carl
Carl
Malden.
Malden.
So what's cooking?
I'm coming into possession of a 1965 Buick Special wagon.
Oh.
V6 automatic.
Yeah.
And it's in great condition, always been garaged. It only has 124,000 miles on it. And it's been 4 years, it hasn't been started.
Ah. That's too bad.
Well, yes, so I need to know what to do before I crank that baby the first time.
Well, the first thing you need to determine is if the crankshaft turns.
Yeah.
First, I have to tell you a little story.
Tell us a story.
I had a 56 Chevy, and for a long time, I couldn't afford to register it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I knew that if I left it at my brother's garage, he would have it sent to the crusher.
I had the crusher on call.
The crusher was on call. So for several years, I had it parked under a tree in my sister's driveway for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I said, I came into some money. I forgot where. I came into $1,000, which would allow me to register the car and insure it. So I say to my brother, geez, the thing has been sitting there for 2 years. I should probably do something before I start it. He says, don't worry about it. Stick the key in the ignition, turn it, just start it, and forget about it. Well, I, like a fool, why do I do this all the time? I took my brother's advice. I must have broken all the rings because the thing started smoking and burning oil, and it never ran right. I mean, this car emitted so much smoke.
See how my brother distorts the truth. One of the reasons you parked it is because it was burning oil and blowing blue smoke, and you could no longer take the obscene gestures of other
old ladies.
motorists and the little old ladies coming home from church, flipping you the bird.
Okay, so I shouldn't take his advice. I should
Don't
take
take
yours.
his advice.
I will say nothing else.
No, you're gonna tell Richard what he can do to prevent
No.
what happened to my poor Chevy. No, here's what I would do.
Okay.
I would, as my brother said, first you got to make sure that the crankshaft turns.
Okay, well, the battery's dead, so I have to...
That's all right. You don't
wanna turn it by
want the
hand
battery anyway.
I shouldn't be saying anything because
No, you can
I'm sorry.
interrupt
Oh, feel
anytime.
free.
You don't want to use the battery because you want to do this very, very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get a nice big
breaker bar.
2 foot long breaker bar, and put a socket wrench on.
Okay, I have that.
You got all that stuff,
Yeah.
and you want to turn it over by hand.
Right, and if you can't turn it with that 2 foot breaker bar,
Then it
close
ain't-
the hood.
Yeah, it's not going to start. But it probably will. I mean, 4 years. I mean, what could happen? What you're looking for is rust could have formed inside the cylinders.
Right.
If it does turn, and it turns smoothly, and you get at least a couple of revolutions out of it, you're in good shape.
Okay.
I would then squirt some oil in each of the spark plug holes. In fact,
Okay.
I might even do that before I tried to turn it.
Okay.
And then I would change the oil. Then I would go buy a battery.
Okay.
Make sure there's water in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would crank it. You don't want it to start right away.
it won't.
Don't keep your foot off the gas pedal.
Okay.
So you're going to let it crank for half a minute.
You should be so lucky.
No, it'll crank for half a minute. He's just put a brand new battery in it. And then stop for 10 seconds, crank it again for half a minute, and then set the choke, hit the gas pedal, right? The choke will close, and that baby will start right up.
Okay. And
Now, if you want, you can skip a bunch of these steps.
Yeah, you can just put the key in it.
Put the key in it and start it up.
No.
How much gas is in the tank?
I
The gas
haven't a
is
clue.
probably junk by now.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah, drain out that gas.
It would be nice to
if you
get rid of
can.
it.
Okay.
And
Have you got a siphon?
I could probably get my brother to do it. Why should I drink it?
Why should you do it? Oh, you got an older brother?
Oh, yeah.
My sentiment exactly.
Excellent. Yeah, I would, if possible, get a lot of the gas out.
Okay.
And then put a couple of gallons of fresh gas in there.
Okay.
More important than anything, when you do get it started, if you do get it started, resist the temptation to rev the engine.
Don't ever rev it.
Okay.
Just let it idle for several minutes before you think about revving it up.
Okay.
I think it'll be fine.
I hope it is. I hope to use it.
Well, we hope to see you at Car Talk Plaza with it some sunny afternoon.
Well, I was by there the other day, so perhaps I will.
All right.
Good
Okay.
luck, Richard.
Well, thank you very much.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, before we give the answer to last week's puzzle, we have to take a short break.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Frankenstein warned me to be sure to let my brother's brain cool off every 20 minutes or so, or he'll get afraid of fire, and we don't want that to happen.
We'll be back in a minute.
Taking care of business, it never was your thing. Never even noticed the needle hitting me. Your 87 Hyundai, it sputtered, then it slowed, and then like our romance, it died on the road. You would have left me, but you ran out of gas.
And even though aging hippies remove their vegan, cruelty-free sandals and pound their radios with them whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor BetterHelp, a truly affordable online counseling service. Fill out a questionnaire online and get matched with a licensed counselor best suited to your mental health needs. Whether it's depression, anxiety, or trauma, BetterHelp will help you overcome what stands in the way of your happiness. Learn more at BetterHelp.com and get 10% off your first month with promo code CARTALK. BetterHelp. Get help anytime, anywhere. This message comes from Car Talk and NPR sponsor R&T, a new collector's edition magazine for the automotive enthusiast that delivers immersive stories, striking visuals, and deep dives on new cars and future classics. Plus, you're invited to join the R&T Track Club, where you'll be granted access to exclusive events, virtual experiences, perks, promotions, automotive adventures around the world, and much, much more. To join the club and live the drive, visit roadandtrack.com/join.
I'm Rodney Carmichael, and on this episode of Louder Than a Riot, did bias against rap lyrics seal the fate of No Limits Mac Phipps?
This guy shouldn't be incarcerated, and I know that his music got him incarcerated, but they got the wrong guy.
Listen now to the Louder Than a Riot podcast from NPR Music.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzler.
What was the puzzler?
Ah.
You're going to tell us.
No,
I
I'm
know.
going to tell you because this is not the kind of puzzler that you'd remember. Most aren't, actually.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter.
A customer who shall remain nameless called up the other day and said that a brake job we'd done had gone awry. We'd done a brake job on his old Volvo. We had put on new pads and new disc rotors on all four wheels.
Yeah, the bad rotors.
And it was all right for several months. And all of a sudden, Dick calls and says, Dick. And says, gee, now when I step on the brakes, I get a rumbling. In fact, when I step on the brakes really hard, the worse it is. If I step on them gently, it's hardly noticeable, if at all. But when I really step on that pedal, boy, those things rumble and shake like crazy. I said, geez, I don't know. One of those discs must be warped, he says. He brings the car in and we drive it around, and sure enough, he's right. It is rumbling. Classic symptom of a warped disc.
Yeah.
Anyway, we put the dial indicator on this thing and determined that there's nothing wrong with any of the new discs. So we check all the bushings, the tie rod ends, the ball joints, you name it. We check everything, figuring that any one of these front-end components could be wobbling and causing this problem, because there are interesting dynamics set up when you slow the wheels down.
Sure.
But we find nothing. So since Dick is a pain in the neck,
What's his last name?
was he supposed to remain named? We put 4 new discs on, figuring that maybe the dial indicator's off. Who knows? I mean, why not? The guy's a good customer.
Even though all evidence is to the contrary, the customer is always right. He says he's got bad discs. He's got bad discs.
Right, and he spent thousands on this job anyway.
Thousands.
We drive the car. Guess what? The same thing happens. Back on the lift it goes, and hours go by. We have Ralph chained to his toolbox until he figures the thing out, and he's standing there underneath the car, right in the middle of the car with wrenches in hand. And he's ready to remove something. And I say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I know what's wrong with the car." What's you going to remove that's right in the middle of the car that's going to solve the problem? There are no brake parts in the middle of the car.
When you said this, I said the hanger bearing. You said no. I said the transmission mount. You said no.
But you were close. You were close.
Drive shaft.
Yes, Dick had a seized universal joint.
No kidding.
So when you step on the brake, what happens is this. When you step on the brake at low speed, or when you step on the brake gently.
Got it, of course.
The angle of the car doesn't change much with respect to the ground. But when you step on the brakes hard, the car does something called nosing or diving. The front bumper dives to the ground.
Half gainer?
Half gainer. And the drive shaft has universal joints on it, which must flex. But if one of those universal joints is seized, when you're asking it to flex to accommodate this new angle of operation, it begins to shake like crazy.
Yeah.
It was only doing it on hard braking. Ralph figured out that it was because the thing was nosing and causing that seized joint to have to try to bend, and it couldn't. That was causing the vibration. Pretty nifty, eh?
So he took out the drive shaft, and sure enough, you found that to be true.
No, it was all right, actually. But we sold them new U-joints anyway. And rear struts. No, that was it. And it solved the problem. So who's our winner?
Wow. The winner is Dan Vicentin.
Okay.
From Oyster Bay, New York. And for having his correct answer chosen at random from among the thousands of the correct answers that we got this week. Dan Vicentin from Oyster Bay, New York. It's a T-shirt. How come everyone who writes to us says, P.S. I wear an extra large? Does that say something about our show? Everyone says, I wear an extra large.
No, you know why they all want extra large? If you're going to clean windows with this, you want a small one.
You want as much material as you can get.
There you go.
And the extra large ones are the same price as the small ones.
Yes, indeed. Which is, if you win the puzzler, free. Now, we have a brand new automotive/logic puzzler coming up in the third half of today's show. So don't touch that dial. I think it's kind of nifty. In the meantime, we'll take your calls, of course, at 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car
Good
Talk.
up yourself. Good job.
My name is Alana, and I'm calling you from Rogers, Arkansas.
Alana with an A?
Mm-hmm.
A-L-A-N-A?
All right.
Where in Arkansas are you?
Rogers.
Not that it makes any difference to me because I don't know a single thing. I couldn't even name you a city in Arkansas.
Oh, really? Well, we're in the northwest corner.
Little Rock?
Little Rock. That's 4 hours away from
Hey,
here.
I named a city.
There you go. I knew you could do it.
How about Selma?
No, that's Alabama.
Oh, okay.
But it starts with an A. Anyway, Alana, what can we do for you today?
Well, I had kind of a little problem, but it was kind of scary to me. I have a 91 Honda Civic that has 156,000 miles on it, and I've been putting gasoline in my own car ever since we started doing that sort of thing. And what I do is I fill up the gas tank until it clicks off at the pump. I don't top it. Because
You don't burp it.
I don't burp it, okay?
Good.
Okay, so I filled the tank, and I didn't put the cap on right away. I just went into the station to pay my bill.
Yeah.
And when I came back, the gas was flowing out of the gas tank.
From the filler?
From my tank.
But you don't know where from your tank.
No, you mean right out
right out where I put the
where
gas
you put the gas in.
It was coming out, So I put the cap back on and I drove out because I didn't want to be involved. I didn't want to have that gasoline around me. And since then, it's never happened again. But I was just wondering what would cause it to have the gas, because I don't want it to happen again.
Well, I believe what's going on here. Now, I have to ask a question first.
Okay.
And once I get the answer to that question.
I know the question.
Go ahead.
Was it a hot day?
No.
No, it's not a hot day.
Has anyone done work on the car because you had a problem with the car losing power at high speed?
Well, I just had the ignition switch replaced, or the ignition timer replaced a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, the igniter.
The igniter, mm-hmm.
Did the guys who put the igniter in, did they work on the car several times before they figured out it was the igniter?
No, I just described the situation where I had to keep the key turned all the way over before it would go.
And they knew what it was.
Yeah. And they said, fine.
All right, well, there goes. I thought that if you had one of these problems, that it was possible that somebody, in an attempt to solve it, had drilled out the gas cap to allow it to vent to the atmosphere.
Oh,
but that gas cap you have is faulty.
It is?
Yeah, because when it's on there, it ain't supposed to leak.
No, she didn't put the gas cap in.
I didn't have the gas cap in.
What the hell were you doing paying your bill without the gas cap on?
I don't know. I've never
Weren't
done
you
that before.
paying attention? She said
I'm still on Alana from Ken Rogers, Alabama.
Arkansas.
Oh, right.
No, she specifically said she didn't put the gas cap on until she went in to pay. And when she came out, the gas was pouring out the open, uncapped filler neck tube.
I got it. Well,
I wondered why you had a theory, and I didn't understand what it was.
Why didn't you give me a dope slap? Jeez. All right.
Whoa. Yeah, so now what? Big brain.
Well, I don't know. I'm back to square zero
back
here.
Back to square zero. Yeah, that's where I've been all the time. You see now the beauty of misunderstanding the question.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be all right if I answered that other question?
No, sure, fine.
No.
Well, I mean, there are strange dynamics inside the tank, because don't forget there's air trapped in there. There are baffles. I mean, the tank is not just a container. It's not like the kind of a gas can that you fill up for your lawnmower.
Yeah, that's true. And the little flap does, in fact, prevent the air from getting out.
Okay.
So
was the tank completely empty when you started this operation, or was the tank half full?
No, it usually is pretty empty.
Pretty empty.
Fill it up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I suspect that some air that was trapped inside pushed the gasoline up the filler neck, and it's nothing to worry about. I thought it was leaking with the cap on.
No.
And obviously that's wrong.
Yeah,
if it were, the cap would have been bad.
Okay.
The most obvious conclusion here is you put the gasoline in, the tank is full of air. As you put the gasoline in,
now, I hate to interrupt, but you should have just said, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we answered your question, but instead you have to go off and try to explain dark matter. I mean, give it up. You've done a good enough job.
No.
I mean, Stephen Hawking doesn't go places he ain't supposed to. He knows when to stop.
He goes everywhere, man.
No,
he goes everywhere.
He knows when to stop.
I was going to have a disclaimer at the end, because you recall what I said was the most obvious conclusion to reach is that you put the gasoline in, and the gasoline is trying to displace the air that was in the tank, because the tank wasn't empty, it was full of air.
Okay.
And as you put the gasoline in, the air goes up to the top, and gets what? Compressed up there. Then you pull out the nozzle, and you got compressed air sitting on top of gasoline.
Okay.
And so it doesn't like to be compressed.
And because the flap is closed,
that's where I was getting stuck.
It takes a while before that gas can get past the little flap.
Exactly.
And it takes about as much time as it takes for an ordinary cash transaction. Did you pay cash or did you charge?
Charge.
Ooh,
there goes that theory.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't understand it now.
No, charge is slower.
Charge is slower.
That's good. So it took longer.
Oh, all right.
That's good. So it took
Sounds good.
It took longer, and by the time you got out, the pressure had decreased and brought with it. How does it decrease? By sneaking out that little flap
and bringing
brought
gasoline
with it some gasoline.
All right.
I think you're all right.
Okay. Well,
don't drive like my brother.
I really appreciate you calling. So.
See you.
Thank you.
See you, Alana.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Was it she that called us? Never mind.
Yeah.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Jim in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Hey, Jim, what's going on?
Well, I have a 1991 Toyota pickup, and it's a great truck, and I've driven it all over the place, hither and yon, with nothing more than routine maintenance.
Isn't that great?
It's wonderful, and but it's finally gotten to the age. It's 145,000 miles, where I think that only necessary repairs should be made. So that's the background.
Okay.
You introduce an enthralling concept. Only necessary repairs.
That's the key here.
I mean, you would think that would be the philosophy throughout the life of the vehicle,
Oh,
but
no,
evidently not.
No, there's preventive maintenance and
But that's not
preemptive strikes.
Well, preemptive maintenance is one thing, but only necessary repairs. Repairs.
Now, I think what really Jim means is I'll take care of the life-threatening stuff only.
Yeah. I mean, this opens up. Ask the question, and we'll see how it works out.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that the tailpipe was riding very low to the ground, and I was sort of pondering what to do about this.
Not having a coat hanger handy.
Yeah, that was a possibility. But then a few days ago, I took a look at it and noticed that it just wasn't there at all.
I was going to guess that.
I looked under the truck, and it had just completely sheared off perfectly at the back of the muffler, and it's running great. So I'm wondering, do I need to get a new tailpipe? What does that tailpipe really do? Am I threatening to explode the gas tank with hot gases?
Well, this may not fall into the category of an only necessary repair.
Yeah.
Where is the muffler? The muffler is basically under the bed of the pickup truck.
I'd say under the front of the bed. It's sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And then the tailpipe goes back into the right.
To the left.
Back into the left. I knew it.
Right. But the effluent from the muffler, or where the tailpipe ends now, is back of you when you're sitting in the truck.
Right. The question is it back of the gas tank?
I bet you it's not, because the entrance to the gas tank, the opening to the gas tank is probably considerably behind the back of the muffler.
What do we care where the gas tank is? Should we care?
Well,
I don't care where the
our
gas
lawyers
tank.
might care.
I don't care.
You don't care?
Well, I mean...
It could be. I mean, there's a small chance that hot exhaust, if it were allowed to hit the gas tank...
Yeah.
If the gas tank were leaking, for example, there could be a terrible fire.
Boy, oh boy, is this a necessary repair in Jim's definition?
Well, the chance that it's going to set the truck on fire is very, very small.
Okay, that's comforting.
But we don't in any way want to be associated with the thought that it's zero.
My heirs will be happy to come on Stump the Chumps later on.
Right.
Your heirs. Exactly. We'll say, how did we do? Well, Jim isn't here right now.
Well, let me suggest a cheap solution.
Okay.
The tail.
I can see it coming now.
The tailpipe.
Does it involve flexible hose?
No, it involves frozen concentrated orange juice cans.
And even though the NPR electrician makes a mental note to leave some wiring exposed in our studio whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
This message comes from Pineapple Street Studios' new podcast, Stay Away from Matthew McGill. The story of a man who dies alone in the woods and leaves behind a box full of wild stories. When reporter Eric Mennel finds this box, he becomes consumed by it until it totally changes his life and family. New episodes are available every week wherever you get your podcasts. Binge all episodes exclusively on the new Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Voting is crucial, and I don't give a damn how you look at it. Is this America?
Not we, the white male citizens.
Misrepresentative Democracy.
A new series about voting in America.
from NPR's Throughline.
Episodes drop October 15th.
We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair. We haven't discussed either one so far. And the new puzzler. Now,
which you said would be partially automotive and partly...
Well, I said automotive / logic.
Yeah, okay.
Now...
Well, they're all that.
I got to tell you that I remember having used this puzzler before, but my compatriots, i.e. my brother and Berman, insisted I haven't.
Oh.
And our staff archivist, recent emigre from Southeast Asia, Slong Gone, says that she checked all the tapes and
it's not there.
It's not there. So I'm going to assume that I didn't use it, and here it is.
I don't remember.
Many, many years ago, I receive a late-night phone call from my brother who tells me that his car has broken down. He says, I need help. Do you have a rope to tow with? And I say, yeah, sure. I'll be right there. So I watched Ted Koppel. I watched The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. I watched the late movie, and then I take a shower.
Tom Snyder. Yeah. Paid programming.
And I decide
Psychic Network
to head out and give him a hand.
Yeah.
And I arrive with my car, tow rope in hand, and he's, of course, asleep in the car, snuggled up with one of his pet raccoons. And I wake him and ask him what the story is. He tells me what's wrong with the car. I say, I can't tow you, you knucklehead.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, we only have a few blocks to go. I can tow you. And I say,
the Indian rope trick?
Holy cow. And he's right. What's he talking about?
You never used this puzzler.
What's wrong with his car?
Yeah.
That enables him. He's broken down now. He called me.
Yeah.
Woke me up.
Yeah.
Made me come out there, and he's going to tow me home?
I can't tow you, and I say, I'll tow you.
There you go. Now, if you think you know the answer,
this is good.
Or the boss is away this week and your cubicle is near the stamp machine, send your answer to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Ma 02238, or you can email us your answer from our website, cartalk.com. If you'd like to call us, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Daryl Wallace.
Is that a D-A-R-Y-L?
D-A-R-Y-L, exactly.
Yeah, where you from, Daryl?
Well,
you don't want to tell. You don't have to tell us.
No. I live in a motorhome when I'm in the United States. My car, this particular car, is in Costa Rica.
Oh,
in Isla Nublar.
Very close, as a matter of fact.
That's where you are right now?
No. Right now I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida.
He's on the move. He doesn't know where he is.
No kidding.
No, I move every couple of days.
Yeah.
I work for the circus, and so I live in a motorhome and travel.
No kidding.
You work for the circus?
Yes, we all have to do something.
What do you do for the circus?
I buy the advertising and set up media promotions.
Oh, so you're not a clown or a lion tamer or something interesting like that?
No, nothing glamorous. I'm the dolt that
the promo
goes out
guy
there and beats up on people for a few gross rating points. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the circus travels, I imagine, whenever possible by train, but more often than not by truck.
Yeah, right. They have.
Do you ride behind the elephants or in front of the elephants?
I never actually see the circus.
No, he's there 2 weeks before. Or a month.
I'm a couple of months ahead. I'm only 2.5 weeks from ending my season right now. I'm going home to Costa Rica in about a month, and that's why I desperately need to find out how to get this car working right.
All right. Well,
okay, so you got a car in Costa Rica.
Right.
And that's what the problem is with.
Right. I mean, cars in Costa Rica are the most expensive portion of living there.
Yeah.
And the availability of the parts and
so I got it. You want to make sure you bring the right part with you.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay, good. What's the problem?
This is an 86 Trooper. It has 112,000 miles on it, and the whole motor was rebuilt.
Yeah.
And since the motor was rebuilt, About 40% of the time, it has no power whatsoever. In fact, there's a little jerky motion to it, not a violent lunging, but just a little jerking motion. You can feel the power coming and going, except when I try to go up a hill.
Yeah.
There's a little in the middle of the instrument cluster there. There's little trouble lights. And there's one thing that says check engine. As soon as that trouble light comes on, the thing starts going like crazy, and works great. and mostly that's uphill. And then when I level out or start coming down a mountain, it just starts jerking again.
When the light comes on, it takes off.
Right. Oh, I pray for this trouble light.
Well, you do have this car does have an onboard computer, and you can access the trouble codes with something called a scanner.
Who can?
Okay.
I mean, not Manuel.
Not Manuel.
Not Manuel. No.
I mean, mechanic there. He's got a screwdriver and a hammer.
Yeah, well, that's about all you need.
Yeah.
You're done for. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't own a vehicle that has more technology than the local populace can handle.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, the car of choice for most of the mechanics there is a 1970 Toyota Land Cruiser.
And that's what you should have.
That's good. Yeah. But I mean, let's go on the assumption for the moment that the light coming on is unrelated.
Oh no, I'd have to guess that it's all related to the ignition system. From my vast knowledge of these troopers,
okay,
what's happening is you're not getting adequate spark, and then all of a sudden you start getting spark because something is working correctly, like the module, the electronic. This has electronic ignition.
Yes, but why would the light come on before it starts working?
Well, I don't know that.
It's almost simultaneous.
Yeah,
simultaneous.
It's.
I don't like it. I'm sorry.
I like it because that's what it is, and that would explain everything.
What? What would explain?
That would explain why the light comes on and why it has no power occasionally. Because after the thing warms up a little bit, the electronic ignition kicks in, it heats up, and it starts working correctly. I think you need
but he could drive this. He just said he could drive this around on flat land for all day, and it would have this bad symptom of jerking.
Right. That's exactly.
Right.
I mean,
so it's warmed up, but it's not working
on the engine. Right.
Yeah,
I don't like it. All right, I don't like that either. Okay,
let's junk that.
All right.
On the other hand, consider that the check engine light comes on for some strange reason, maybe related to climbing a hill. Right?
Yeah, it has to do with
and it's
angle of attack.
And it's unrelated to what the actual level ground problem is. Could be two separate things.
Okay,
not that I have any ideas.
Oh no,
I'm just wondering if we use that.
I thought you were
approach.
going someplace, and I was ready to yes you to death. Sure, sounds good to me. Come on, keep going.
Well, I don't.
You don't see me stopping mid-moronic statement. They're gonna say something stupid. You gotta carry it out.
How's this? It could be that the only time Daryl actually really steps on that gas pedal is when he's climbing a mountain. Daryl?
Yes.
Do you ever floor it when you're on level ground, or is there no room to do that? Too much traffic?
Oh no, the roads are too bad to actually ever floor it. You know, but
so you never really floor it when you're on level ground, but you do have to floor it when you're climbing the hill.
Right.
And maybe that's what makes it suddenly clear up, the fact that you're flooring it. How's this? This is automatic transmission?
Yes.
Try this. You can't try anything because the car is in Costa Rica.
Well, I'll be there in a month.
I'll be there in a month.
Plenty of time to do nothing but try things.
I know, but we're not going to be able to help you to bring a part with you. Well, maybe I can spur my brother on to greater heights. Let's try.
Well,
when you get there, what if you got there? What if we'll use a Goduncan experiment here? Wake up!
No, I'm trying to concentrate.
What if he got there and he did the following test? He gets in the car and it does this business. He puts it into low gear.
Yeah, sounds good.
So that now he's got to really floor it in order to do 20 miles an hour. And he discovers that it goes like a bat out of you-know-where. And it's related, therefore, to the position of the accelerator pedal. What if that were true?
It would be great if he had a throttle position sensor in this
Wouldn't
thing.
it?
But he doesn't because it's carbureted.
All right. And how many barrels does it have?
2 barrels.
And maybe the first barrel isn't really working right, and only when that second barrel opens up does it really go. Bring a carburetor with you.
Okay.
Right. And a Toyota Land Cruiser.
I think it's in the carburetor.
You got to call us from Costa Rica.
Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, can you call an 800 number from Costa Rica? Sure.
Oh, well, he has a phone 7 miles away.
The truth is, if it were the carburetor, you might have a shot at getting it fixed down there. Because there's plenty of there's more carburetor technology there than there is here.
Oh, sure. They don't understand.
Nobody around here knows how to fix a carburetor, but Manuel knows how to fix a carburetor.
Here's what you're going to take with you. The next 3 weeks that you're here in the States,
spend
that time buying the shop manual for this vehicle.
Shop manual.
Oh, yeah. You don't have one of them, huh?
No, I have. What's the one they sell in the auto parts stores?
No, you have Chilton's. That's useless.
Yeah, Chilton's, yeah.
Yeah.
You need the bona fide shop manual. Go to an Isuzu dealer someplace.
Okay.
And they may even give you one. The thing is so old. I mean, they don't work on these 86s anymore.
Yeah. And, I mean, just on the off chance, if you can buy a carburetor for $150 in a junkyard, I would put it in my suitcase. Okay. I got that feeling.
Put it in the back of the Land Cruiser when you ship that over. But I would buy the shop manual, and there's a big troubleshooting section in there, with all kinds of flow charts and whatever that tell you if it does this, check this. If it's all right, check this. And
if it does this, buy a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Right. So good luck, Daryl.
Call us when you get there.
I will. I mean, this is it's $3 a minute, but
hey,
don't worry, we'll charge it to NPR.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
Don't sweat it. See you, Daryl.
Thank you.
Glad we could help you so much.
Oh, yeah. Our pleasure.
Okay.
Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello.
Hi, this is Judy, and I'm from Freeport, Maine.
Freeport, home of you-know-what?
Yes.
Yeah, of
L.L. Bean.
Beam.
M.N., yeah.
So anyway, Judy.
Well, thanks for calling.
Well, I have a problem that I'm hoping if you can solve this puzzler, that you're going to save my poor retiree mother like $26.99, because she's gotten this book. Actually, it's not a book. It's an ad promoting a book of New England remedies and how to do things for cheap. And it's a lot of come-ons, like, do you know how to clean your pots and pans with ketchup and all of that? We won't name the publication because it was a premium from public radio. But
really,
here's the stumper. There's this statement, and she's ready to buy the book. And I said, don't do it. I know who will know the answer if anyone does.
Oh, yeah, we know everything.
Okay. 95% of the wear on your car's engine can easily be eliminated by using an old blanket, allowing the car to run trouble-free for a decade.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, I see. When you buy this book, they're going to tell you what to do with the blanket.
They'll tell you how you can use a blanket to eliminate 95% of the wear on your car's engine and allow your car to run trouble-free for a decade.
I know they're going to tell you to take the blanket, cover the engine in the winter.
Yeah.
Put a light bulb underneath the blanket between it and the engine.
Yeah, that's it.
I think so.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just eliminating 95% of the
wear.
wear.
And if you're lucky, everything catches fire and the engine won't wear out anymore because it's burned up.
You get your insurance.
Well, and here's the rationale behind it. When it's very cold, all the oil, like all kinds of stuff, gets sort of thick and gooey. And even though they tell you that that's not true, of course it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, the oil is all at the bottom of the engine in that oil pan down there called the sump.
Yeah.
And so all the pieces that need to be lubricated are up above it.
So how do you do the light bulb without burning up the
blanket? Here's the thing. If you go in there and try to start your car on a very, very cold day, for a few moments, I don't know what those moments are, but for a few moments, the oil didn't get to where it ought to be because it's so cold and thick. Whereas, if you take the blanket, cover up the engine, stick a light bulb under it, it will keep the oil nice and warm and toasty and therefore able to flow better.
So do you put the light bulb under the hood?
You put the light bulb under the hood,
Under the blanket, actually.
And the blanket.
Yeah, you don't want it to touch the blanket because then you'll have a conflagration.
No, it probably doesn't make a difference.
Then it's even better then because the fire will keep the oil. But if you just want the blanket to keep the heat down there and not let it escape out the top.
I think that she's not going to buy the book for sure.
Well, someone's got to buy it.
No, I mean,
I don't know if we're right.
The truth is that's good. They're right.
Yeah.
Of course, if you happen to live in Miami Beach, it ain't going to help you a hell of a lot.
Well, that's why they weren't giving. That's why Miami Public Radio wasn't giving these out.
That's right.
Great. Well, thanks a lot.
Hey,
All
good
right,
question, Judy. Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Well, it's happened again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from his record-breaking Walk for Hunger, W-O-K, at the Greater Raynham Stir Fry is John Bugsy Lawler. A choir they use during our show whenever they hear us say it. This is NPR.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Dunkin'. Dunkin' has a delicious way to get you going, to help you go from I don't got this to I got this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a sweet, velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha, or a light and creamy, dairy-free oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip